So in this video, we are going to study about how can you establish a module federated micro front-end architecture using NextJS. This is a very complex thing, but see, the thing is like in many tutorials, you must have seen some easy peasy things like using micro front-end using iframe, or even in module federated, you must have seen with like React.js or something. Here, we are doing it with Next.js because in most of the enterprises, they prefer using Next.js for the projects because of several benefits like SSR and like so many other things, SSG. Apart from that, like there are so many other benefits out of the box, like image optimizations and all. I'm not going to dive deep into that, but definitely here I'm going to tell you that this is the reason behind studying the macro front end, and that also module federated using Next.js, because this is some enterprise level stuff. As you can see, here we have this application looks like a single application. Okay, here we have all wired, but these are federated modules. What if I tell you that this, and this are all three different applications? Right? Sounds interesting, right? And I can open like this. Okay, nothing is functional because it is purely for like demo purposes. And look at this. So how does it actually work? Let us see how we can use the module federated, and what are the concepts of micro frontend and module federated, and why with Next.js and things like that, and why even use micro frontend and why use module federated for micro frontend. We are all going to see it right now, completely studying the concept deeply in the theory, and then we will also see the real implementation by looking at the code as well, and be explaining you how you can set up your own micro front-end project with module federated architecture in Next.js, so that you become ready to answer such questions in interviews and even ready to take up a new project that is assigned to you and requires this level of understanding. So yeah, let's get started. Here I am, and if you see Next.js Module Federation Micro Frontend Monorepo. Indeed, this is a monorepo. I have worked with monorepo. Okay, we can work with different repositories as well, but for now, focus on the monorepo only. I will definitely tell you about the different repositories approach as well later on, but not in this video. So yeah, three independent Next.js apps composed at runtime using Webpack Module Federation. Webpack Module Federation via @module federation Next.js MF. MF means module federation or something that you are thinking. So, what does it mean? What is Webpack module federation? What exactly is Webpack? Well, Webpack is what will compile everything, what will actually decide that how your project is going to get compiled and get shown on the UI. Okay, because the compiled code is being shown. That is how it works. So here you see host. The host is here, the shell loads the remote UI. What is the remote UI? See, in this remote UI, all or of your applications, the module federated applications will be consumed. Okay, all the independent Next.js applications that you create will be consumed in this host. And then these are like module federated apps, shop app, checkout app. Okay, like this. And those expose a few components as well. So what exactly are micro frontends here now? Micro frontends split a large frontend into independently deployable pieces. What does it mean? So let's say you have a very big frontend, let's say hundreds of pages and a very big team. So working on a single repository, sometimes if you do not have a good enough device to run, if the company does not provide and strictly has policy to use their own device, or maybe like it is causing so many what to say, blockers, so much friction, like merge conflicts and all. Every time you got to rebase and then re-implement your changes and stashing and all. So much friction is happening, so much hassle is happening. In order to avoid that, in order to improve the team's performance by reducing all this friction, you use the micro frontend. So each team becomes independent. The add to cart, the cart page, not add to cart, the cart page where all of your existing cart items and the checkout and all is shown, that becomes an independent application. Independent team is managing it. Okay. And the product listing page becomes another application that another team is managing it. The settings page and so many different things. Okay. So those become the different applications. Here you see each team owns an app with its own build, own release cycle and runtime boundary. So yeah, on the cart page they can release their own new features without having to be dependent on us. Of course, there might be dependency on the backend team, but certainly not on any other front-end team. And if there is still a dependency on another front-end team, then it is not a proper micro front-end architecture. Okay. Here are the benefits: the team autonomy, as I said, independent deploys, definitely, because each application will be deployed as an individual application, it is not dependent. And technology flexibility person. You can choose whatever tech you want per application. Here we are using the Next.js, but yeah, like other packages, like you want to use Material UI and other team wants to use Tailwind CSS because of their developer skills like that. Okay, so that's why we do it. A shared dependency alignment, yeah, it is a trade-off sometimes, and more operational complexity and harder debugging than a monolith. So sometimes it might happen, like, let's say there is a backend chain. Why did I highlight it? Anyway, so let's say like a backend team is implementing changes, required changes both on yours and like any other front end. Now, one dependency that can occur is that if a change is reflecting on their application, then it should reflect on your application as well, so that your product makes sense. Okay, this is the only dependency that happens in macro front-end architecture. This is not the dependency that their changes will reflect your changes. No, this should not be the dependency. That is the elimination actually. That is eliminated by a macro front. Now this is how the flowchart looks like for a macro front-end organization: the shop team, the different team, the platform team, and the checkout team. Okay, there is a shop team. They have their own app running on localhost 3001. The checkout team, the localhost port should always be different. Okay, you cannot simply be like they are running 3000, you are also running on 3000. No, if they are running on 3000, then you have to run on 3001 or any port that still does not exist. And then you see shop team runs on this, checkout team runs on this, platform team runs this host, and here the runtime import happens for this, runtime import happens for this. Now, which approach we should use? We should use module federated application architecture for now. And there are different approaches like multi-zones and things like iframes and all, but for now we are using this. So you see, module federation is because, at runtime, we load all the JS chunks of the module federated applications. NextJS 16 app router is not supported. Even NextJS 16 itself is not supported here, but that is not the thing to worry about. Okay, Next.js is built for the purpose that the version 14 and version 16 will not matter much. What matters much is the foundation of the Next.js. Okay, here module federation apps, definitely they are independent deploy. Multi-zones, definitely independent deploy, but multi-zones are mostly used for fairly smaller teams, not exactly very large teams, smaller teams actually. Okay, so these are the proxy paths, and monorepo packages are also there, but like that is a completely different thing. I haven't heard people using those, and even if they are using those, not much popular, so we will not be saying that here. Module Federation does not work with the latest NextJS stack today. In future, they might add support, but for now, it does not work. Okay, so don't worry. The feature is NextJS feature use Turbo Pack by default, and Module Federation requires Webpack, and it uses App Router by default. And here, Module Federation uses the Pages router, and here, Module Federation is a client-side runtime composition, whereas Next.js 16 uses React Server components. Okay, now these are the packages that we are going to use. So next, yep, Silver Pages Router Webpack tab, latest published plugin, Webpack, this Module Federation plugin we have to install, and then Webpack definitely, and then this React and React DOM, yep, for sure. Now this is the architecture. I'm definitely going to provide the PDF, so you have nothing to worry about. What is this architecture? What do you understand by it? Can you just look at it, pausing the video, and understand what is it? Were you able to make sense out of it? Let me explain. This is the host tab, consuming all of these apps, module federated apps. Here it has the host page, has a lazy import of this and lazy import of this. Okay, we are importing an entire applications component, right? So we have to do a lazy import so that things work without bugs. You must be thinking, why lazy import, why not correct import? So that was the reason. Okay, what is it? This happening. And here the remote entity.js file, what is it? I will explain you later. And again, to this checkout also is an independent page as well. And here shop is also an independent page as well to the remote introductions. Usually the independent pages won't exist, okay, won't be much used, but yeah, you can still have it. That is the feature here. Runtime sequence is this: the user comes to this host, here HTML shell plus host.js, so the JS chunks are being loaded, and then this HTML shell, which is referring to the script file, and that script file is executing whatever we want. Get request to the remote entity.js file, and this remote entity.js file will tell you, will actually identify that for which port, for which purpose, which module federated app has to be used. Federation manifest, and then here get this product list chunk from this shop application, federated component loaded, and then again getting the request to the remote entity.js from where? Here, from the host, to this checkout, and then again this federation manifest means all this federation happens. We tend to refer to the module federated app and see which one actually has to be used, and from there we identify that okay, this component has to be used because this is actually being exposed from the code, and I will show you how. And here this federated component is loaded, and then the React renders the composed page, okay, like this. This was the flowchart. This is the project architecture, but don't worry, I will show you in the VS Code. And this is how it is wired. We have a next.config.js file. So now here you see that shop application, individual application not dependent on any other application, is being used. Name is shop. This is necessary for remote entry file. This is the file name. The path to the remote entry, and it exposes these components. Okay, these components. If you want to export the entire application, you can do that as well. Simply like expose the main component, main page component, and then you are good to go. Or expose all the pages components or whatever. Shared React singleton true. Yeah, this step is absolutely necessary so that all your React shared hooks are being used properly without causing any bugs. Now, host app consumes remotes. So see, the shop app. The name was shop. Here we use shop, and shop editors. Okay, static chunks remote edit. Static chunks remote editors. Okay, like this. The host page. So we have to add this check always in Next.js. You must know already. Now, all these are wrapped in suspenses for loading state. Okay? And do not use this next dynamic with server-side rendering for federated remotes because it will break the shared React singleton, means you will not be able to use the React features properly here. Okay, so yeah, it is a bit complex, but this is how the enterprise applications work. Because when you have a very big team, you have to make it module fitted. These are the prerequisites. Okay, and now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open the Cursor IDE, the Agentic AI, and then I'm going to show you how the Agentic AI can help you understand Module Federated much better and can help you increase the speed of this development. Alright, are you excited? So let's get started. Now you can see this. So see guys, I already ran the app and you already saw it. So there's not much into that, but here I'm going to explain that from the basics. The git ignore file do we need to see? You can see, okay, because these many are not for the git. Now going to the package.json, okay, package.json. Here what you can see is this is the name of this remote app, and here PNPM overrides not really necessary nowadays, but anyway, these are the dev dependencies. Concurrently is needed to run all these apps concurrently. These are the scripts. So all of these applications will be built, okay, and in order to run, when you run pnpm dev, this command actually runs concurrently -n host, shop, and checkout. All these three applications will run, okay, and these are the colors. So as you can see, blue, green, and yellow, this is the color, okay, like this. If you want to run individual application, you can do that as well. It's up to you. Going to this pnpm log, this is not for us because log file is generating just like package log.json. YAML file we will create, and here you have to look all inside the apps, okay, like this. This is the readme, so you can always have it in the PDF as well. Now I'm going into the apps. First I will go into the hosts, okay. Here you see static chunks, this. So what if I go to shop, static chunks, remote entry file. See this. This is the remote entry file which will decide that, okay, you are referring to this application. Yeah. Got it? So now let's properly explore. First, let's explore the host. Let me close this .next. Okay, this is generated when we build it actually. So look at the package.json. Yep, we will be using Webpack, so we set it to true. Running it on port 3000. Sorry, and we have this plugin installed. This tailwind CSS, so that's something different. We don't have to see it. It is for UI design only. We are not going to study UI design, right? Here, now we are using Next Federation plugin. Okay, these are some helper functions like strip incompatible resolve plugins. Okay. Like so, these are automatically generated when you scaffold your project with Agentic AI, or you can always find this kind of setup on the official documentations as well. So you don't have to write these helpers manually. Don't worry. Okay. Now this is the config. These are the remotes. Okay. What exactly are we gonna use? Shop URL. Yep. Like mostly you won't need to put these in env, but anyway, if you want you can put it. No worries. So these are the URLs we are going to use. These are the remotes. So when you create a new application, that also we are going to do in this video, here it will get added. Okay. Here. So this is how we are deciding that, okay, this is the host and what all remotes is this using. What about the config of this individual app then? Does this have remotes? No, because this is not host. Okay. Now you got it, right? Now your concept is clear. So this is the host, we have to give the name. Okay. Now, going more deep into the host, what I will do is go to this next env. These are just the tabs, and you see this automatically generated when you scaffold the project. And still, if anyone is still so much interested, then see, nowadays you do not even need a config button. TS config, module resolution, bundler. This is how your TS config is, and this is how you should exactly keep it. Like, I mean, like you can make changes, but there are like this is the ideal way to keep your TS config JSON in order to have a perfectly running module federated project. Okay. Most of the time when developers like scaffold the module federated projects, they usually take references from repositories only. Okay. Public repos or even the official documentations only. No one manually configures this TS config, this config, that config. So you should not be worried that you will have to do manual. AI is there for sure, but what if the company does not allow to use it? Then you don't have to worry. Now, what else? Now, let's go to this components. This is the client only. This one is children. And where is this being used? This one. Go to the app. This is component. Okay, component is of this NextJS only. Okay, which is already being put. And this is the index file. So you keep this remote component type is remote component. Here you enter the loading. Why use let for components? Because here now we are going to lazy import all of these from our remotes. So we imported all of these from our remotes. Okay. And now we are going to render those. Okay. And see guys, when you do standalone, you have to use this ahref tag only. Okay. But usually within it, you can use the link. And here you see within the suspense, we are using this. So the app, individual app, which is this, will be loaded and then the suspense. Okay. And now again, this checkout form. That is what we will be building a good, not completely functional, but yeah, basic e-commerce application as well. Yeah. So yeah, this was from the host, and now all of this is architecture only. Uh, we're declaring the module and types and all. So this one you should know. Now components and remote loader. These are the related components which you will be using. And it's your choice only if you want to use or if you do not want to use. Okay? Remote loader, global loader. Now let's go to the checkout data, static data. Now you will go to next.config.tx. Here again the helper function. Fuck that. Here React strict mode true definitely. Webpack config. Here name is checkout. That is how the remote will consume with the name checkout. That is how the remote will consume. Hey, sorry, host will consume it, not remote. Sorry. Here this is being exposed. Okay, so if this is exposed, this is what will be used by the host as this is being now exposed. Okay, same works with this, same react singleton to the same config, enable image. Those are the NextJS ones. Okay, you can look at the documentation and then URL loader fix, NextJS fix. Okay. Extra option in case you are facing errors, you can enable these options. And the same kind of config goes for the shop as well. You see here, same thing. We go to pages, no difference. And here in the index also, we are using like a normal Next.js application. This is the benefit. These are the individual set of applications. These are not the host application. So these can be used like normally. You don't have to do those like lazy importing this, that. You can only do when it is on your use case. But ideally, you can use it like a normal Next.js applications, and teams will be independent. That is the beauty of this module federated architecture. Got it? So now what I will do is I will show you how it is currently looking on the browser. Once again, I'm going to show you. All right. So as you can see, like this is very basic. Okay. So now what we are going to do is that we are going to ask our agentic AI to actually build a classic application, a classic e-commerce application. All right. Now I will use the plan mode. Now since all is set up, build a classic e-commerce application. All pages like products, categories, cart, settings, orders, wish list, payment, etc. Use local storage, session storage only for features to make those work. I mean to say that the functionalities should work but without any API integration for now. We will definitely do API integration within this video, guys. Don't worry. Okay. Without any API integration for now. So let me run my Docker as well. So you can also run your Docker. I have already taught you how you can use the Docker in the previous video. How you can use the Docker for DB and all, MongoDB or whatever. So that you don't worry. Mission for now. Add to cart wish list. Sync and yes. Payment. Sample. You to an e-commerce app. Create as many individual MF apps as necessary. Should work. Obviously, I'm teaching you how to write a prompt, okay? In the end, you can use a component library as well for things, but it all the pages actually with real world with no designless content. In the end, you can, you should run lint build and fix all errors, zero tolerance on any time. Alright guys, are you excited? Let me hit the enter. So, prompt engineering is very important, guys. When you are collaborating with Agentic AI for your work, the prompt engineering is quite an important thing, and you should know because nowadays, if you are not able to write great prompts, then you will not be able to get good results from the AI, and that will be very problematic. In our jobs, let me tell you, the job that I am doing and that my previous job and my previous job, we use the Cursor IDE only. Okay, currently here we are using that GitHub Copilot IDE also. Cursor IDE I've been using for last 2 years, and yeah, it has become mandatory at so many companies. In my last company, they said that your performance will be decided on, also on the factor that how much do you use Cursor. So like, yeah, I'm not talking about the right and wrong here, but it is what it is. So as you can see, it is exploring. It uses the sub agents to explore. Okay, the sub agents. Let it explore, and then after exploring, it will build it for us. And I'm gonna show you how it is gonna build it all for us. Until then, let us look at any other components. Let's see. This is the Tailwind CSS, and yeah, I am able to see this IntelliSense using Tailwind CSS IntelliSense, this extension. This is the product list. If I use the checkout components, you already separate. Go to styles. We have to use all of this to use the Tailwind CSS. Nowadays, we don't have to use, but here they are using the older version, I guess, which Tailwind version is used. Tailwind 3. Tailwind in Tailwind V4, you don't have to do all of that. So you see, it is the crafting plan. Hmm. Alright. So increase the scope a bit. Okay. Let's increase the scope a bit. Let's get a very good result. Because we are going to build it for production anyway. Okay. We already know the basics. Now I'm going to show you how to actually get the great result from the AI. You know, like because we are clear about the basics of micro front end and module federation, NextJS and all, right? Like there's no point in creating any like, a very basic application as of now. So let it rewrite. Yeah, it is rewriting it. Mhm. We'll take a comprehensive rewrite. And in case you get confused in the Next.js feature as well, you can always ask me in the comment section. I will be able to answer your doubts very, very soon. All right. Yeah. This is what we are going to build, guys. All right. Look at this. Ta. And after this, we are going to build this backend also for this now. And within Next.js only, here only in this we are going to build the backend as well. We will see if in module front-end architecture whether it makes it possible to build the APIs within Next. We will definitely see it, and if not, then we can create a separate Node.js application also and use the Docker for the DB for now. As you can see, it has started working towards it. I know you must be waiting for the result, but see guys, instead of continuously waiting for the only results and then thinking like, okay, no, we will study later or something. That is bad thing. You have to understand the entire process. Okay. Shared design system, event bus, types packages. So this is continuing its work. Until then, what we are going to do is we are going to go to you know Brave browser and understand more and more about what to say this module federation. Okay. Next is alright, yeah, is shared. So I hope you can see. One second. Let's check if this continuing. Hmm. Anyway, I have set it to auto review, so won't be much of an issue for now. Here, micro front-end architecture make it easier to share code between JavaScript applications. Make team collaboration. Code sharing, share code between decentralized. What is decentralized? There's no central intermediate. Every team will be independent. And modularization, flexibility. RS pack means Rust pack and Webpack will support. Rust is very fast. Now we go to configuration. Works like this. Let's go to the AI. NPX skills add module skills. We can use this so that it has all the skills of the module federated architecture. Okay, this is how to use AI in module federated. Then we ask the agents, what is this, what is that? We even ask them to do the work. Debugging and all they will do. So here I have already configured it for auto review. So it will do its own debugging. It is even using the sub agents to build everything. So yeah, like this, and even we can pass this as documentation. We can even pass this as documentation, markdown documentation, so that they can index it all and able to answer all of the questions. All right, this is the official website of the Module Federation, and that is where we will learn. Now, I'm getting back to my Cursor IDE and see what it is exactly. MF config, MF. Mod. Anyway, I'll not abuse in this video. 32 host. This is going to be a very classic, great application. Okay, the designs and all, like if there are any issues, we can definitely fix. But hey, we have already told this AI to use the component library, so it will do all the work. We just have to like check and review. Even it will review as well, so that also is not an issue. It will review the code. Only thing is, the code review is still important. It's because that how the project is going and how it is coupled. So in case it removes a line, then even though the code architecture, what to say, coding standards and all are fine, still you will need to tell it to not remove this because deadline was important, deadline was needed for this, and blah blah blah. Okay. Event bus, when we will pass an event, it will be received at another application. For that only event bus is used. These many remotes will be there. This is the script. These are the env was, was, not was. We should not talk about was. Was are bad. Was, variables. TypeScript link, yep. So any type should not be any type, A and Y, any. And build verification. So how do you verify that the code that is generated by the AI is working fine? You explicitly tell that AI to run these verifications before actually coming to the conclusion. Got it? That's exactly how things work. README will be updated, and yep, portable. And this is the implementation order. This is how it is going to implement, and this one as well. So if it is sounding boring, you can simply like fast forward it to see the result. That's also not an issue. What I am doing currently is I'm just explaining you each and everything so that all your basics are clear. Your basics should be clear, guys. If basics are not clear, you're going to have a very, very big problem in the interviews. Believe me. Even for a 10 years experienced person, they still ask basic JavaScript questions. Like, okay, how does the hosting work? Hosting. What does the hosting work? What is closures? What is generator functions? Yield keyword? So many things. So basics should always be clear. If those are not clear, then it's issue. And yeah, one thing I missed, I think, here, it must be using the emojis instead of like icons. So I will tell it to use the icons only later on, in case it uses the emojis. Yeah, it is implementing the cart micro frontend. Sometimes this delivers great results. Alright guys, so most of his tasks are done. Alright, dependencies have been installed. Is running the TypeScript check, and we will definitely run our project and check what has it built for us. Okay, let it finish. Let it finish. We will be checking all of this, whether all of this has been satisfied or not. Finalizing page optimization, pre-render, anything will be creating optimized build. It is building all, and then it will build the host. Okay, account. Okay, let it build the account. Hmm. So when you build orders, build, and then the host. At last, it will build the host. Okay. Here, it has mentioned. Go to the host. Okay, it is having any. Not sure. Shouldn't. Anyway, also let me initialize the repository. That is Agent. Anyway. So build has passed, guys. Congratulations. Here you see in next config and so many remotes. The remote entry. What is this function? Name, base URL. Yeah, just to make it easy. Okay, it is adding the type check. So see guys, this adds the type check so that the result is absolutely perfect. All right, 1 second. All right, so it has built all the required features for us. You see, and it has added the static data as well. 45 products, 10 categories, 8 brands, 55 C reviews, and 12 stores. Promo codes are as well there. Save 10, welcome 15, and free ship. All right. You can add your own coupon codes as well. And this is the full flow. As per the plan, all of it has been executed. The build has passed. There are absolutely no technical errors. Everything is passing quite well. The build has passed. The lint check has passed. The type check has passed. Now let's run this. Pnpm dev is the command. It will start all the applications, all the 7 remote applications that have been built as a part of this project. And now we are going to review it on our browser. All right. Okay. Every application has been initialized successfully. Now I'm going to switch to that window here, and let me run this. And don't worry if in case any error is there. Alright, so as you see, the application has been built. It did shitted when building the card UI, but that's not an issue. We can always fix it. You can click on view on and it loads. Now, I will show you how to actually debug. Let me take the screenshot of this, and you can use the Agentic AI to debug your applications using the screenshots as well. And this looks quite interesting, and I'm gonna show you how you can exactly do it. So I'll move to my Cursor IDE and I've added the screenshot, and see, this is how it looks. Alright, has the tailwind CSS not being initialized properly, or any component library issue, or what? So this will now debug what exactly is causing the issue for us, so that you don't have to all your manual work. Alright, now this will also show the reasoning in a few seconds. As you can see here, we can see in the terminal, upstream image response failed for this. Definitely it added the static URL, but that image no longer exists there. That's not an issue, but it is not causing an error because of this particular thing. Okay, so that you don't have to worry about. Yeah, so see, this is even reasoning. You want to look at the reasoning as well. So the screenshot shows overlapping elements, inconsistent typography, and this points to a tailwind CSS initialization or component library configuration. So it is investigating now. It is exploring. This is the advantage of using the Agentic AI, where we basically pass on the instructions and it does all of its work autonomously. And especially when I set it to the auto review mode, it will automatically review what exactly it is doing, what commands it is being running, and that is how it is going to fix. So see, it is making the changes here. Yep, and possibly it should fix it. Okay, global CSS. Yeah, quite a lot of components require the fixes. Does the app really? Okay, the typography issue has been fixed. All right, nice. So don't go so much onto the design part, but as you can see, the add to cart functionality is working. Now you can go to the cart, you can click on the checkout, and it will start loading the checkout application on. We got into the 500 error for the checkout. That we'll debug later. Let's explore the other aspects of our application. Wait. Okay, let it make the changes first, and then we will run the server again. So let's run the server again. pnpm dev. And let's check everything once again. Okay, it is started all the applications. Yep, every application is ready. Now I'm gonna refresh. Yeah, it is loaded. Look at this. Your clean application is now ready. Like, you can do your responsiveness tweaks, but just look at this. All the pages are loading, and this is an enterprise level architecture which you actually use while working at big tech companies, not like your college projects. So this is the card one. Here again, minor UI issues you can always fix by yourself, and you can continue as guest. You can add all your details. And is there a validation? Yeah, there is a validation as well. Go to the account page. Yep, we have to sign in, chat with us. It has added a chatbot as well. So this was the whole purpose of showing you how to use Agentic AI to build an entire application using the module front-end architecture, a module federated front-end micro front-end architecture using the NextJS. All right, and if you see the newly created applications here also, you can see there's not much change in the config. All right, this is the create remote config and yeah, helper functions so that we do not repeat ourselves. Alright, so in this video, we learned about how to scaffold a micro front-end project, how to use the module federated architecture in it, how you can use it with the Next.js, and yeah, this is it from this video, guys. Alright, the API part is coming in the next video, not in this one, alright, because this will get lengthy. And in that API part, we will be making this application not only completely functional, but also great design-wise as well, fixing all the design issues and making all the data dynamic. And you will get to learn how to use the Docker as well. Right? So until next time, I'll see you. Bye bye for now.